Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Monday, October 17th, 2022. Welcome to day 636. The Biden administration launched the online application for student loan forgiveness. The plan is expected to provide debt relief to as many as 43 million U.S. borrowers. This is a game changer for millions of Americans, Biden said. The application can be found at studentaid.gov, and qualifying borrowers have until December 31st to fill out the online form and receive up to $20,000 in federal student debt cancellation. During a test of the Education Department's Student Debt Relief Portal this weekend, more than 8 million Americans signed up to have some of their student loans forgiven. The Department of Education currently holds $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. Meanwhile, the United States is forecast to 100% enter a recession in the coming 12 months, this according to a new economics model projection. The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 5 times so far this year in an effort to bring down persistently high inflation, and is expected to do it again next month. While the chances of a recession within 12 months have reached 100% under the current model, the odds of a recession within 11 months have also increased to 73%, up from 30%. The 10-month probability rose to 25% from 0, and in a separate survey, economists put the probability of a recession over the next 12 months at 63%, up 49% from July's survey. It's the first time the probability has been above 50% since July 2020. The Biden administration suggested that the U.S. is better positioned than most other countries to mitigate inflation, which rose 8.2% year over year in September. Bernie Sanders, however, accused the Fed of hurting the United States, saying that it's wrong to deal with inflation by, quote, lowering wages and increasing unemployment. Biden, on the other hand, has repeatedly said the United States will avoid a recession, but that any downturn would be very slight. Moving on, the Trump Organization charged the Secret Service more than 5 times the recommended government rate for hotel stays at Trump properties while protecting him and his family, this according to the House Oversight Committee. The committee found that Trump's company charged the Secret Service exorbitant and, quote, excessive nightly rates on dozens of trips, end quote, ranging as high as $1,185 per night, despite claims by Eric Trump and the Trump Organization that federal employees traveling with him would stay at the properties for free or at cost. In total, U.S. taxpayers paid Trump's company at least $1.4 million for lodging for Secret Service agents. Meanwhile, the Justice Department asked a federal appeals court to end the special master review of documents that were seized during an FBI search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. In a filing to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, lawyers for the DOJ argued that the case didn't present the exceptional circumstances necessary for a judge to interfere with a criminal investigation, and that Judge Eileen Cannon had, quote, erred in ordering a special master review, end quote, in the case. The appeals court ruled in the DOJ's favor on a narrower issue in the case last month, allowing the DOJ to resume using about 100 documents marked as classified as part of its criminal investigation. The January 6th committee, meanwhile, asked the Secret Service for records of all contacts between its agents and members of the far-right Oath Keepers group prior to and on the day of the attack. During court testimony, members of the group, including leader Stuart Rhodes, claimed to be in contact with Secret Service agents prior to rallies for Trump after the 2020 election. Additionally, a Secret Service official confirmed that the agency's Protective Intelligence Division had reached out to the Oath Keepers in advance of the protests in D.C. in November and December, as well as the January 6th Stop the Steal rally. Members of the Oath Keepers are currently on trial for charges related to the Capitol attack, including seditious conspiracy. And finally, the Justice Department recommended that Steve Bannon be sentenced to 6 months in jail and pay a $200,000 fine after he defied a subpoena to testify before the January 6th committee. A jury found Bannon guilty in July on 2 misdemeanor counts of contempt of Congress for refusing to testify and provide documents to the committee. Bannon has, quote, pursued a bad faith strategy of defiance and contempt, end quote, from the moment he was served a subpoena. This according to a sentencing memorandum from the Justice Department. Bannon is set to be sentenced on Friday. He would be the first person to be incarcerated for contempt of Congress in more than half a century. Trump, meanwhile, won't say whether or not he'll comply with his own subpoena from the committee for testimony. And in the polls, the New York Times says 49% of likely voters say they plan to vote for a Republican in this year's election for Congress. 45% say they plan to vote for a Democrat. The margin of error in this survey is plus or minus 4.1 percentage points. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.